Hello, my name is Erica Brower, and I'm wanting to talk to you about the power of positive parenting. So first off, to start this off, I did some research by conducting a parent needs assessment. Um, and as I was doing my research, I found that a lot of parents had questions about these topics. So, why does having a hard day give a snowball effect? What can I do to encourage positive thinking? How do I relieve stress and anger? Why is me time important? And is it okay that I don't have all the answers? And I'm going to start off by saying, yes, it is okay that you do not have all the answers as a parent, and truth be told, you probably will never have all the answers. But as new situations come, you will be able to learn from your child, and you can learn what techniques better help that specific child. So it is a learning process for everyone, myself included. So the answers will come eventually, it just takes time and practice. So as I go through this presentation, I hope that all parents will be able to better understand how to be empowered and feel like they really do have a positive impact on their children and that they have the power to change their child's lives, seeing that parents are the very first teachers their children will ever have. The next is to make personal time to release built-up stress and anger. And as parents, we feel like there is no time to really take a breather and to relax, but you need to make the time, even if it's just a few seconds when you feel yourself getting emotionally elevated, to take a breather. So we're going to talk more about the benefits of that. And then we are going to discuss helping children regulate their own emotions and positive thinking that way. So we'll get into emotion coaching. All right, so controlling upsetting thoughts. What parent does not have upsetting thoughts? I know that even myself, I get really down on myself and feel like I'm not good enough, or I can't have a positive impact on other people. And it just goes around in my head, and again, it elevates and it makes me feel like I can't do anything. But as I did my research in reading the book The Incredible Years by Carolyn Webster Stratton, I found a great way to cope with negative thoughts, and not only cope with them, but actually changing them into positive thoughts, which in turn positively impacts parenting, and your children see that. So I found there were 3 different ways. It's a process to control upsetting thoughts, and there are 3 different process steps that you need to take, that we all need to take. So the very first one is being aware of your negative and positive thoughts. Negative thoughts seem to be a lot easier to think about, which is kind of sad. So instead of really focusing on negative, realize that you have positive thoughts too, and emphasize positive in your mind. And the next step is to decrease your negative thoughts. And a really effective way that I have found is through using thought interruption. When you feel a negative thought creeping up, stop yourself. Recognize you're having a negative thought and you want it to be changed to a positive thought. So recognize it and say, wait, I don't want to have that negative thought. What can I do to change that negative thought into a positive one? So when you have that negative thought, it is really good to objectify the situation and then normalize it. It's good to recognize that it's there and realize that there are ways to combat that. And if you're feeling emotionally charged, it's good to reschedule worrying or anger time, but having time to take a breather later on. If you can't then, just realize that it is normal, that parents go through these hard times, and that you have the power to change it. And the third step is increasing your positive thoughts. And you can do that by disputing negative self-talk, by saying, I'm not good enough, I can't influence my child. How in the world am I going to be able to do all of this? I can't at the same time. Instead of saying you can't, think you can. What can you do to help the situation? And you can first calm yourself by thinking about something that relaxes you or makes you happy. What I do is I actually wear this ring that my grandpa bought me, and whenever I'm feeling upset or kind of miserable, I look at this ring and I think about how it makes me happy that my grandpa bought this for me. So that's one way of using thought interruption and finding something that can change negative to positive. And you can find your own personal way to do that helps you. So the power of positive thinking is huge in parenting because children look up to their parents and they see that when their parent is upset, then it makes them kind of feel all turned up and upset because you're their role model. So parents are viewed all the time by their children. Children are paying attention. And if you have positive thinking, your child will be much more likely to have positive thinking themselves. And positive thinking leads to positive behavior and positive interactions. And also empowerment of the parent. So when parents feel they are positive and they're on the right track, they will be able to better emotion coach their children. So what is emotion coaching? Emotion coaching helps children understand their feelings. When parents emotion coach, their children learn how emotions work and how to react to feelings in healthy ways. So in a nutshell, emotion coaching is a way of talking through your child's feelings and finding ways to cope with that emotion and recognizing it as normal, and then finding a solution to why they are feeling upset and how to think positively. As I was doing my research, I have my sources later in the presentation, so I'll show you there. As I was doing my research, I found so many advantages to when parents emotion coach their child. It helps them form stronger relationships with other children, helps calm themselves down, and they actually do better in school and even get sick less often. And a really good thing is they are able to have fewer negative emotions, and that helps with more positive behavior. So I found 5 steps of emotion coaching that I felt would be really effective and have been effective for myself too. First, you need to be aware of your emotions, recognize what you're feeling, and then connect with your child, really show that empathy and support so your child doesn't feel uncomfortable with his or her own emotions. And then give your child time to talk and listen to your child. It's important to find the time to really try and feel what your child is feeling and see what the issue is and why they're feeling that way. And then naming those emotions so that they can recognize what they're feeling and that it is normal. And in order to help later for more long-term effects, you should find different solutions. We need to find different solutions for handling our children's emotions, and that will help them think through what they're feeling and then find a way to resolve that. So now I have a video clip I want to show you.
Next tonight.
I really like it because it talks about different ways and how parents yelling can impact their children, and it's huge. And if you are able to emotionally control yourself, then it will help your children understand, and it will help them feel more comfortable being where they're at, instead of yelling, which is negative and it churns everything up and brings out negative emotions. So I will play this and you can write down notes and and review them later.
A secret inside the modern American family. Almost every parent has at one time or another yelled at a difficult child, and tonight there is a new study giving insight into what that can do to everyone when an adult starts yelling. Nightline anchor Cynthia McFadden now with advice for the whole family.
How many of you have ever yelled at your child? But a new study contends, even in otherwise loving homes, yelling, especially when it's mixed with name-calling and insults, can cause the same problem for young teenagers as hitting them: depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem.
We are New Age Brady Bunch.
The Johnson-Tuggy clan in Cleveland say they don't curse or use put-downs, but they are a little worried about how much yelling goes on.
I'm a yeller. I yell out of frustration.
Like, hey, grab their attention. This is not cool.
But experts say yelling often doesn't work. Listen to their kids.
Sometimes when I get yelled at, I get angry, go downstairs and start hitting my punching bag, or I feel sad.
I just wish I could get talked to, not necessarily yelled at.
We brought in parenting expert Dr. Carolyn Ivers Landis.
Hi.
One strategy she suggests is for parents to give themselves a timeout.
Having the other parent who's maybe not pushed to the limit as much, maybe step in a little bit.
I don't think any parent would ever object to having a break.
Another tip, use more carrot, less stick.
All right, so something that really stood out to me was that even the children noticed a difference in what they felt when the parent yelled. So recognize that your behavior impacts children. My behavior impacts children. And children look up to parents, and if parents are yelling, they get churned up, they get upset. And when in all reality, children just need to be sat down and talked to. And then you will be able to more level-headedly come up with a solution to what is happening. So there is a huge impact on parenting when the parents take a break. It is extremely important for parents to take a time out themselves, because we all have our stressful days and we need breathers to recoup. And negativity does impact our parenting. And I know that when I get upset, sometimes I just react. And that necessarily does not mean it is the best thing. When I react, I feel like there are things I could have said better later down the road. So even a 2-minute cool down can drastically change the situation. You can get a breather and come up with better ways to interact with your child that is positive. And it will help you logically think about the situation. And another quote that I really liked in the film was, at the very end, it said, "When you have lost your temper, you have lost your argument." So let that sink in for a little bit. When you have lost your temper, you have lost your argument. So make sure and keep a level head so that you will be able to see long-term results. So, all in all, increase your positive thinking, control your upsetting thoughts, because it has an effect on your children. Take a break to release your own emotional elevation and give yourself time to think about better disciplinary action than yelling. Then, lastly, it is so important to provide emotion coaching. And that is a positive way for your children to understand what they're feeling. So all in all, your child is watching and you are the model. So when you think positively, it models that to your child, and your child will be able to better benefit from that. So here are my sources, and thank you very much for watching my presentation, and good luck with parenting.